Hey guys, Dan Harrison here with Remax Professionals, real estate agent in Minnesota. Today we're going to be talking about making offers. We're in a process now with you where we've identified a property that we want to purchase. Now, we call that writing a purchase agreement. The purchase agreement spells out the terms by which the seller will convey or sell the property to you. When we get ready to write an offer, these days our offers in Minnesota are somewhere in the 40 to 50 page range with all the disclosures and all the addendums and personal property and arbitration and things like that. What we'll do each time we do an offer is we'll go through and fill out a certain number of blanks. There's probably 15 blanks that change each time. That'll give you the ability to ask for different parts of the purchase to be a certain way. As we go through it, all 40 pages really do need to be explained to you. Many of them are boilerplate. Many of them don't get changed very often, but it's important that you understand a lot of that. And so what we usually do is sit down and go through the purchase agreement the first time. Now in today's time frame with COVID and different things going on, which probably aren't going away anytime soon, we will do a lot of times do a Zoom meeting where I'll sit down with you, you and I are talking, but we'll have the purchase agreement or page we're on going through on the computer, and we'll talk through each line. One of the things that I bring to the table after 25 years of doing this is the ability to tell you what's normal in the purchase agreement and what different negotiation things will lead to, whether it's a benefit that you should negotiate or something that's very minor, things that could cause the purchase agreement to be upset down the road, or things that might change your ability to close on it on time. In writing the offer, there's a couple things we need to be aware of. The number one I tell people about all the time is earnest money, because earnest money is actually going to be writing a check for money that will be deposited right away after the purchase agreement is accepted. Now, I think it's important that people understand that that earnest money is cash and it needs to be available immediately. So it's typical that people will write an earnest money check for about 1% of the sales price. Obviously on a $200,000 home, that's about $2,000. What we'll do, usually we use a thing called trust funds now, where we electronically submit our earnest money to the listing broker. Depending on how we want to negotiate, that's something we could talk about as well. But it's important that we know about the earnest money. We'll also be talking about price. Obviously, price is the amount you choose to pay for the property. And we'll talk about a negotiating video on another time that'll help you understand how we approach that. We also talk about closing date. Typically, people are closing 30 to 60 days from the date of the offer. That's generally speaking because a lock in on your mortgage, which means you can secure the interest rate and be sure of it, is about a 60-day thing that a lender will give you. We'll also be talking about inspections, and we'll be discussing what we want to do with our inspection, whether we want to do one, how long we want to do them. We'll have a mortgage finance contingency, which will dictate how the earnest money is handled should you not be able to receive the financing. It'll also give us a final underwritten commitment date. We talk a little bit about arbitration. Arbitration, which is a separate means of settling real estate disputes, is something that's optional, not necessarily part of the purchase agreement, but takes place at the same time. And we'll explain that again in another video because it's a little lengthy. We'll talk about personal property, what's included with the home when you're purchasing it, make sure we're spelling those things out. And then we'll also have disclosures on there, which could be lead-based paint, depending on the year of the house. If it's built before 1978, we have that. As well as the disclosure that the seller is putting out there telling you anything they know about the property that could affect your use and enjoyment. As we finish up with the offer, we'll go through and sign everything electronically, which means I'll send you an Instanet form. You'll click through it, saying you understand it, send it to me. At which point I will submit the offer to the listing broker. Now the listing broker, depending on the market, if the market's really hot, it might be highest and best offer by a certain day. If it's a normal market where it's one offer to one seller, they'll usually see that offer within 12 to 24 hours, depending on their schedule. Following that, we can negotiate back and forth. The seller has the right to accept your offer, counter your offer, or turn it down. Generally speaking, we either see accept or counters because there's no point in them saying no unless there's multiple offers. Once they've seen that offer, we either have a deal where they've signed it, and then once they've signed it, you've signed it, and you both have a copy, we have a purchase agreement that's consummated. or they may be sending us a counter offer, at which point we have the right to renegotiate it. As far as offers, I think that's a pretty good overview of them. If you have questions, shoot me a text or an email. I will talk to you soon, and I look forward to helping you some more. Thanks.